You two might not want to watch this. For this project, I'm using a couple thrift store stuffed animals. Don't worry, nobody's fuzzy friends were harmed in the making of this video. To start on this, I needed a couple plywood circles. I just guessed on the size here. I probably guessed wrong. There might have been a better size that would have worked a little bit better with the stuffed animals I'm using. I traced out the circles, then cut them out with a jigsaw. One done, then the same process for the other. And now you've got two. The jigsaw is pretty handy. It's not really finished quality though, so I needed to clean up the edges with my belt sander. The way I'm going to use these, I needed to cut a rabbet around the edge. That's rabbet, R-A-B-B-E-T. It's a moose and an elephant if you're not paying attention. I screwed these down to the scrap board so they wouldn't get away from me, then chucked a rabbeting bit into my router and ran it around the outside edge. It's just a 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch deep here. Now for the dismemberment of our furry friends. Viewer discretion is advised. I needed to tuck some of the moose brains back inside, then I just tacked around the outside edge with a staple gun. I didn't do a very good job of cutting this out because I was really guessing at the shape here, so what I've got to do is cover up this area here and kind of wrap it around with another scrap of moose hide. When it's all done, the extra fabric can be trimmed away. All right, here's what they look like, stuffed and mounted. Nice ring of staples around the edge to hold it on there, and it seems so lifelike. This project is not for the squeamish. There's lots of stuffed animal guts that have to be cleaned up. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the carnage. I wanted to mount each one of these on a plaque, so I laid out the shape that looked good on a piece of paper. Then you can just fold over your pattern and cut it out so you'll wind up with a symmetrical shape. I also made the plaques out of different species of wood. There's a piece of oak, I think, and then a pine board. I'm going to try something here that I haven't done before. This paper is too thin to really trace around and get a clean outline, so I sprayed it with some adhesive, stuck it to each board, and then hit it with a little bit of black spray paint. When you peel away the pattern, you're left with a pretty clean outline. Again, it's back to the jigsaw, doing the jig, kind of dancing around, trying to make sure that my work is supported while I'm cutting it out. Then it's time to clean up the edges again. This time, I'm using my combo sander for the outside edges and then for the inside radius as well. I wanted to clean up the outside edges, dress them up a little bit. I used a Cove bit on one and I think an OG bit on the other just to dress them up. Then it's time to sand the flat faces. I could have stained these, but I didn't really have any stains, so I decided to char them with a torch. I went pretty heavy on the piece of oak and a little bit lighter on the pine, then sealed up each piece with some spray polyurethane. I drilled a couple of holes in the back of each plaque, then screwed through the plaque into the plywood base plate. A little mounting hardware, and you, my friend, can now mount your trophy on the wall. The The reason I did this is not to torture stuffed animals. I wanted to make an animal-themed project for Steve from Woodworking for Mere Mortals. He challenged people to do that in order to raise money for Makers Care. Steve's a good guy. He does a lot for the maker community, and I wanted to do something to help give back. This is a fun project. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out overall. The one thing I would caution you if you try to do this, make sure you watch the angle of the cut on the stuffed animal to make sure you leave yourself with enough material in order to staple it to that plywood base plate. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you leave me some comments down below. Tell me what you'd do differently or tell me what you think about this project. I like to share what I'm doing with you because I think makers help make more makers, and I hope you'll take the time to share this video with someone who might enjoy it.